Everyone. In this video, we are going to take a look at how we can retrieve the SharePoint list items in Power Apps Code Apps. Now, there is one another video I already did to get the item, but in this video specifically, we are going to take a look at how we can retrieve a large number of items. So here, when I say large, I'm not talking about 100 or 200, I'm talking about thousands. So for this example, I have taken a SharePoint list as a backend, and as you can see here in that list, I have over 25,000 items. And if you take a look at this list that has every column that SharePoint has, like text, numbers, lookup, single line, and everything. Okay. So this list I'm going to use it. Power Apps Code Apps is already I have set up, and I have added the SharePoint connector as well. So if you don't know how to connect it to SharePoint or any data sources, I will put a link in the description so you can watch it. So before watching this video, I am assuming that you already have a complete idea about how to connect and how to configure the Power Apps Code Apps and the data sources. Okay. So getting back to the video, the main thing we face in Canvas application is about delegation warnings, then handling large amount of data and the 2000 row limit, right? But in Power Apps Code Apps, when we work with the APIs, we have a lot of control. I will not say 100% control, but yes, we do have a lot of flexibility around it. The way we call an API to get the data and everything. Okay. So in this video, there are going to be a lot of approaches that I will be telling you, and you have to choose the one that suits you. Whatever code I'm showing you here, I will put the link in the description so you can follow along with me. If you have any doubt, any question at any point, just let me know in comment and I'll be happy to help. So coming back to this one, so I will just give you an overview what you are seeing here in the Power Apps Code Apps. So this is just two buttons I have taken. One is for the HTTP request API call and one is for the default service function. And the reason I will tell you in upcoming part. The debug information, this is something just for the UI because I don't want to navigate back and forth in the tabs and everything. So that's why I'm showing debug info. And this is just a simple table where I'm displaying all the data. Okay, so this is video about specifically about getting items. It's not about showing them and anything. Okay. So now, as you can see here, when you connect to the SharePoint services, you will have this kind of file generated that has all the functions. The one we are going to take a look at is this one, getItems. So what this function does is it will get the item from the specific SharePoint list. So here you can see there are lots of parameters, but only two of them are required, the dataset and table. So those are nothing but dataset is our site ID and list table is nothing but our SharePoint list. Okay. I have configured it like in this variable that I will be using a lot of time, right? So I have created these variables. In the coding, if you go here, there is a function I have written, get item using service function. So this is a single line of code that we have to write to get the data from the SharePoint list. As you can see, I have specified only two parameters. The one is site URL and another one is the list ID. I have not specified because I don't want to apply any filters, orders and anything. So when I hit this function, if I take you back to the code, when I hit this function, if I click on this one, you see there are total 100 items have been loaded and you can see the number is here. And here is you can see the first item which ID starts from 104 and the last item is 100. Okay. So at this point you got an idea because the same thing happened in the Canvas application and Power Automate as well. If you connect to the SharePoint and if you add a gallery and you added a reference to that SharePoint list, in that gallery you will get first 100 result. Until unless you scroll to bottom, it will retrieve the next set of 100 items, right? Same in Power Automate as well. If you don't specify top count, it will fetch 100 data by default. This is how the system is designed, right? But in our case, as you can see, we have over 27,000 items, right? So how we are going to do that? So can we change this limit? Yes, but that is not something that you can have it on your own number, right? So when I say, if you take a look at this function, here you will see the parameter called top. So here I can specify how many number of items that I want to retrieve. Okay. That doesn't mean you can say like 50,000 or 10,000, right? It doesn't work like that. By default, SharePoint has a threshold limit. If you have worked on SPFX or SharePoint for a lot of time, there is a 5,000 view limit we have, right? So what does that mean is, whatever filter and search you have applied, you can get up to only 5,000 items in a single API call. That's the limit. If I want to specify that number here, I have to give the parameter value. Okay. So for this, I will enter comma. So you see the next parameter was supposed to filter, but I don't want to apply any filter. So I'll keep it blank. Order by also, I don't need it. But here I will specify the limit 5,000. I'll save it. Again, back to the code. I will clear this. Click on the item again. So now it will fetch 5,000 records. So top 5,000 records from the SharePoint list. And that you will see it here. So as you can see, the item loaded 5,000, the first one. And if I scroll down, see there are total 5,000 rows are retrieved, right? And even though if you by mistakenly try to put something like, even though if you write 5,001, it will not work. And I will show you. For this, I need to go to network tab so I can show you the exact error. Now let me click on this one. You see, I got 400 error, attempt to perform the invalid operation, right? Because it exceeds the list view threshold. Okay. So you got an idea. So now, is there any way that we can fetch all items? So the answer is yes. But the question here is, why would anyone want to fetch all item in a one API call, right? Because in the application, if you see, we don't show if there are over 1 lakh items in the SharePoint list, right? So we don't show all of them at once. We can have some kind of paginations added, right? We don't want to fetch all of them at once and display in the UI, because sometimes showing these many items in a single screen, right, can break the page, and because behind the scene it is HTML and CSS only, right? So it might break the page. But yes, I will show you the way how we can retrieve it. So for this, we will be not using this getItems function, because here we hit the limitation that we can only fetch up to 5,000 items. And you might get a question like, if that's the case, I will do a multiple API request, right? So you can do it, but how you will know how many API requests I have to use, right? So this is the point you will face an issue. To overcome this, we can use this HTTP request. So if you work on Power Automate, right? So there we have a action called send HTTP request to SharePoint. And in the service function also, that's the same. That's nothing different. You see this action you will see in Power Automate, right? So as a SPFX developer, I figure out a way how we can do this. Okay. So let's take a look at the service function first. So here we only have a data set and we have the parameters. So what parameters we have to pass? If you hover over here, you see the method that means get, post, delete, etc. URI you have to pass. What are the headers? What are the body? Right. So in this case, we only require three parameters: the method, URI, and headers. As this is a get request, we will be not passing any body. Okay. So now, so here I have written a function. You can completely ignore this part. This is just for the debugging purposes. Right. So the main thing here is page size is 5,000. I have already written here. Okay. And I will also show you what happen if you change this number. Then there is a variable called all items, because whenever I am making multiple API requests, I want that data stored somewhere in the locally. So when I say locally, that means in the local state in an array. Right. Then call number is something for the debugging purposes only. Then this is the important part. So this is the API that we are going to hit In this API, you will see this is a standard one. I'm using get by ID, and the list ID will be here, items. Then here I'm specifying top count, that is nothing but this page size, and order by. So I'm just ordering it by the ID in a descending manner. Okay, that's the API call that we are going to hit. Then this is where our function is written. SharePoint services dot HTTP request. The first parameter I have specified is site URL. Method is get. URI is nothing but this one, and the headers. So this is the standard format we use. Okay. So after that, it will receive a response. So before explaining you this code, so let's see how this is working at up to this point. Okay. Let's go back here. Let me clear this one, clear the console as well. So now I am calling getItems. So in the network tab, I want you to focus here how many API calls it is doing. Okay. So you see, when I click on that button, so it automatically made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 APIs call. Okay. So how it did, let's take a look. But first, here's it, total records. This much record we have in the list and it retrieved. Okay. And if I go to the, see, this number is here. Okay. So let's see how this works. So I think this number is not right. So I by mistakenly click on this one. I had to refresh this page and then click on this. But yes, ignore this point for now. So see how many APIs call it retrieve. So I wanted to focus on this part only. So the first 5 API calls will have this next page link, but the last one don't have it. Now why? This is how it is designed, because if SharePoint knows once I retrieve the data, so in a single API call, right, we get 0 to 5000 item. If it knows I also have more data than 5000, it will just give you the link, not link specifically, a API call to fetch the next set of item. Okay, and this is happening for every call, and the URL is completely different that I will show you. Unless the last API call hit, you see, in the last API call, so second last, we'll take a look, it should have the 5000, okay, here. And if you take a look at last one, see, it only got 2900 because this is the last item it has. That's why it is not given the next page link. Okay. So what are these links contains? So for that I will show you here. See, the API link is nothing but the same one that we have written in the code. Okay. The only difference you will see, there is an additional parameter added that is called skip token. Okay. And the ID. So this is nothing but, in a simple way, if I want to explain, so I will say the skip token is nothing but we are asking this API specifically that you have to skip these many number of items and get the record after that one, right? So if you take a look at here, right, 23, sorry, 23,058, correct? The last item ID, the 28,000. So if you figure out the difference, 28 minus 23, 5,000, right? So first 5,000 we got, then subtract 5,000 from here, we got 18. 18 minus by 13, right? So this is something that is built dynamically. You don't have to specify anything here, right? And that is completely depend on the page size that you have added. Okay. So after each API call, it has all the data, and I am storing it in a variable. And once the last API call hit, I will show all the records here. Okay, this is the way it is working. Now, the page size is something that you can completely customize, but maximum you can put 5000 only. Okay. Now what if I put 100 only, not 100. So let me pick a random number, let's say 500. So total items in our SharePoint list were 25,000, assume, let's say. Okay. So there will be 50 API call it will do. Okay. So I want you to focus here only. So let me refresh this page. So now I will click on this one. So you see the item I am getting in a 500. See 500,000, 1500, right? So page size is something that is determining how much data you will get in a single API call. And if you see here, the first item is 27,560. You can subtract 500 from here, you get 060, right? So this many API call it is doing. Now, is this a good practice? No, at all. Because the maximum limit is 5,000. So let's keep it 5,000 only, right? So see, these number of API call we are hitting once we fetch the data. Okay. So this is for a single user, let's say multiple user working on your applications. Then each user will call these many number of API to the SharePoint, right? And in the SharePoint also we have a limit. I think it's 60 API calls per minute. I'm not sure about this, but yes. So this kind of limitation that you will face, right? And this is not a good practice at all. If you know the maximum is 5,000, let's skip it, right? The only thing you will face a difference here. So when I say 5,000, the time to retrieve that item is much more than we are seeing for the 500. Okay, so let's take an example. Like for one API call to get the 5,000, you are facing 3 seconds. If you specify 500, then you might get within a second, right? So that's the time differences, right? So this is the way that you can fetch all of the items. Okay, but in the real applications you will not have this kind of thing. You will only face the latest items. You will apply some kind of filters, right? The way we work in the canvas applications, you don't apply filter on the collection, you apply the filter on the data source directly. So we can ask SharePoint to filter these items based on this filter condition to retrieve the results. Okay, so this is how we can use these functions. So coming back to the code, so up to this point you know, so once we retrieve the response from the API, if I show you here, so this is our data. Then here we have the O data and the value. So this is the same thing that I have added here. So here what it will check if it got the response, right? If there is, it will concat that table into the existing one. Then you can ignore this. This is just a debugging purposes. And see, there is a equals condition. So what this condition is doing basically, if it found the next page link here, right? So it will call this loop again. You see, this is the while loop basically, right? If we call multiple times and then if it don't found anything, it will just set that URI to null and we will exit this loop and we will set this state where I can set all the data in a single array to display in the user interface like this. Okay. So these are the ways you can get the data from the SharePoint. You know, like how you can customize this setting. Even better way is, you see, I have not applied any filter at all, but yes, the filter is something. The more you narrow down your searches, the more better result you will get in much less time, I will say, right? So this is about this video. If you are having any questions, doubt at any point, just let me know in comments and I'll be happy to help. If you are new to this channel, so requesting you to subscribe to this because I'll be making a lot of Power Apps, Code Apps related contents for the future. Thank you so much.